right. Time. Hi, my name is Keith, and I'm representing Malaysia. I'm an owner of 3 cafes in Kuala Lumpur, and today I would love to share them with you with the 3 courses that I'm about to serve you. We're going to start with espresso, followed by a 3-ounce milk coffee. We're going to end with a coffee wine as your signature drink. Okay, let's go. As I progress as a barista, we see a lot of improvement from new coffee varietal, new fermentation process. But what doesn't really change is what kept me loving about coffee, and that's the connection. You know, the best thing about being a barista is that it gives us time. Time to make a conversation, time to get to know the people that we are serving, and time to make that connection. And that connection can start from our farmers to us, or just within the barista's industry, or even from baristas to customers. And that is going to lead us to the first cafe I own, Transparent Coffee. There you go. There's some photos of how transparent look like. In the middle, there's some coffee information and the tasting notes. And the cup on your top left is for a U spoon after you stir your espresso. Transparent is where I would usually start my day. After dropping off my fiancée to work in the town, I would usually head here for my first cup of coffee. The menu in Transparent focuses on coffee that comes from the same farm, but with different varietal and processing method. Now that is a great thing, because it allows us as a barista to go really in-depth about the terroir, the fermentation, the varietal. All these things that we care so much that will affect the final cup of coffee that you are about to taste. And we always use these as an opportunity to start that connection. The coffee that I'm using today comes from Ecuador, La Papaya. This farm is located at 2,100 meters above sea level, where Juan Pena experimental with different of varietal and processing, making this a definite coffee to serve in Transparent. And there's no any other coffee that I would love to represent Transparent other than an Espresso Course, because espresso is straightforward and it's a reflection of that terroir. Now I'm pulling some shots for my signature drink that I'll be serving you at the end of my presentation. Okay? Now the coffee that's chosen for our espresso and signature course is a Sidra Bourbon varietal. A Sidra Bourbon itself has an intense stone fruit character and a complex acidity. The shots I pulled today for signature drink is 20 grams in, 38 grams out, slightly longer than our espresso extraction, to push through more positive dryness into our drink. And I'm combined with 30 grams of a Nepal cold brew tea over here that I will brief you through later. And I'm pouring them into a 30% of milk and 15% of lemon juice to milk wash this ingredient. And the milk wash allows me to form curd that will hold on to the particles and sediment in our beverage. And I've done this technique to the second key component in our signature drink that I will brief you later also. We're going to bring all these tubes into the centrifuge to spin at 4,000 RPM for 5 minutes. Now the centrifuge will allow me to fasten up the entire process. And I'm going to brief you through later, okay? Now let's move back to the espresso course. The Sidra Bourbon that grows such high altitude at 2,100 meters above sea level, what we would expect is high acidity in espresso course. So by having this in mind, Juan, the producer, wanted to ferment this coffee as long as 168 hours. Now this long fermentation is going to give us the creamy texture to balance out with the acidity that you are about to taste in our espresso course. We control the fermentation variable so that we feed just enough food for the bacteria to control the fermentation. Now let's talk about the espresso that you are about to taste. The taste balance is medium sweetness and medium acidity. And the low bitterness is what you will expect from a coffee that is roasted just below 200 degrees Celsius. And the tactile, on the first sip, is going to be creamy and silky, and that coming from the fermentation. On the second sip, it's going to turn juicier, like a fresh orange juice. And the flavor. First sip, you'll be getting ripe mango and plum. Second sip, blood orange and a geranium floral. There you go. Just stir 5 times and pop the teaspoon in the top left glass, okay? There you go. Enjoy the espresso. I'll be right back. Thank you. Okay, thank you. You ready? Now let's move on to the next cafe. One Half Coffee is where I took inspiration from competition. The bar is built to ease the communication, to allow us to start that conversation easier. And over here, I want to highlight coffee that will showcases the flavors of what specialty coffee could do. Highlighting those flavors that we as a barista love a lot, but at the same time, keeping our coffee approachable and easy to relate for our regular customers. What you will be tasting later is a fruit of that connection. Now for your milk coffee, please look for a few flavor notes that I want to highlight. Salted caramel, melted chocolate ice cream, and honeycomb. Now this is done by using a varietal called Majorado, coming from the same farm. Majorado naturally has a big body. Now to balance out and complement that body, I'm using a milk blend that we did ourselves. There you go, first cup. This is a blend of 5% of slow reduced milk that we made using fresh milk, putting into an oven for 8 hours at 108 degrees Celsius. This gives us a result of nutty character and umami flavor. And 45% of full fresh milk and 50% of freeze distillation milk that has been reduced to 40% in volume. All these tasting notes and information is just right in front of you, all right? There you go. There you go. Cheers. Enjoy. I'll be right back. Now, let's move on to the last course. Here is where I want to serve you a coffee wine. Because when we first cup this coffee, those stone fruits, those florality in the coffee and the slight salinity is what we would expect from a skin contact orange wine. Now to do that, we have 4 key components. And the first key component is a black tube. If you would just refer to the card in front of you, these are the 4 shots of espresso that has been mixed with a Nepal cold brew black tea that I made using 5% of tea leaf infused with water for 24 hours. Now, the cold brew black tea has a sweet floral notes, and it's going to add some minerality to our drinks. The second key component is a white tube. That is a fresh cacao shrub that I made using 1 part of fresh cacao juice, 1 part of sugar, and 1 part of raw apple cider vinegar. I chose fresh cacao juice because the cacao that comes from Chemo region in Malaysia has a quality of like sticky mangosteen and soursop. Now, these are the stone fruits that I find on the light roast sidra. Now, the third key component is very important. This is the clarification. We have done the milk washing technique at the very start. The second part is the centrifuge. And the third part, we're going to filter the rest of the sediments with a Bushnell filter. Not only that, it gives us a visual of a murky orange wine, it's going to give us a new tactile experience. Now, I'll be serving this drink slightly chilled with ice bath to minimize the dilution. Now, when I serve you the drink, please hold on for drinking as we're going to drink it together, okay? We have a last key component here. That is a white grape distillate. I'll be using 2 pump, which is 3 grams. This is going to bring back some of the volatile aromatic that we lost during the entire making process. There we go. Now, when I serve you, please hold on for drinking as we will drink this together, okay? The last cafe I want to introduce to you is Dodo Bake. Here is where we serve things that we all love: coffee, sourdough pastries, and wine. Here is where all our baristas will chill and hang out after our shift and talk about the things that we love in life and share about our daily routine and maybe some of the fuzzy customers that we met throughout the day. This is very important because who are we if we don't even know the people that's around us and work together, right? So, I hope that through my presentation today, I'm able to remind all of us to embrace the moment we spend, like today, and stay connected. Right, thank you. There we go. Now, let's take a step away from coffee and drink wine. I would like to invite you to hold up the glass and swirl. Look for a coating texture and the aroma of bergamot and papaya. On the first sip, we're going to focus on the tactile. It's syrupy, a slight dry tannin that's coming from the espresso. And the second sip, let's focus on the flavor: papaya, kumquat, prune, and the bergamot. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you so much. Cheers. Time.